Welcome back to another one of Nub's Long Plays. As always, I am your host, Victory Nub, and obviously we're going to be looking at Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. This is normally where I would set up the game that we'll be completing a playthrough of, but there is some important cutscene details that start right off the bat, so I'm just going to shut up for a few minutes and go ahead and let it play. Little warning, there might be a little bit of audio popping because I am using a converter unit to make the signal that comes out of a GameCube suitable for an HDMI port, so the audio does have a little bit of pop. I do apologize for that.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by next-generation special forces being led by members of FOXHOUND. They are demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss, and they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon. You will have two mission objectives. First, you're to rescue DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and the President of Armstech, Kenneth Baker. Both are being held as hostages. Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to make a nuclear strike and stop them if they do.
What's the insertion method?
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim. High-tech Special Forces Unit FOXHOUND, your former unit, and one that I was the commander of.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of FOXHOUND involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mantis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter. And finally, in charge of them, FOXHOUND squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As always, this is a one-man sneaking mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP.
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
All right, so obviously we're going to be taking a look at Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, developed by Silicon Knights with support from Konami Computer Entertainment Japan, published by Konami, and released in the United States on March 9th of 2004. I don't think I'm being hyperbolic in saying that Metal Gear Solid, the original game at least, is one of the most important video games of all time, and the original game that released in 1998, for its flaws, still withstands the test of time. It told a dense, mature storyline about the continued dangers of nuclear proliferation in a post-Cold War world, and the idea of a genetic legacy and how one's destiny is tied to their genes. The game offered most of its story through fully voiced dialogue and cutscenes, and encouraged problem solving via experimentation with items in-game as well as outside the game. So the question that has to be asked is, why are we doing a playthrough of the remake Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, the one that everyone hated? I will answer that question, but let me start with the basics. I'm going to go ahead and stop the cutscene from playing a second time. We don't need to hear it twice. We'll just go to one of the menus, and hopefully it won't continue playing audio. No, of course. How about briefing? No, not yet. I don't want to see this. Oh, crap. Stop. We'll play that in a minute. It's not going to let me skip it all, is it? There we go. We'll do that in a couple of minutes. We'll just let it sit there. That's fine. All right, anyway, let me get started with the basics. Development on a remake of Metal Gear Solid began in 2003. Hideo Kojima, the director of the Metal Gear Solid series, was approached by Shigeru Miyamoto and Satoru Iwata about developing a remake for the GameCube. Konami was busy working on Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater at the time, but gave his blessing for the remake and suggested that Silicon Knights, the studio behind the critically acclaimed title Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem, should helm the project. Konami provided the game engine from Metal Gear Solid 2 for the development of Twin Snakes, and the cinematics were directed by filmmaker Ryuhei Kitamura, who initially designed the scenes to closely emulate those of the original game. At Kojima's request, however, Kitamura redid the cinematics to incorporate his particular style of action. More on that in a bit. The music for the remake was a split responsibility, with Silicon Knights handling the in-game music, while Konami tapped MGS2 co-composer Norihiko Hibino to produce the music for cutscenes and menus. The entire dialogue script for the game was also re-recorded, with the majority of the voice actors reprising their original roles, with at least one exception. While Konami considered using the original recordings for the remake, those recordings were captured in a converted sound studio in Hollywood with poor soundproofing, resulting in some outside noise being picked up in a few spots. So what are the major differences between the original and the remake? One, graphically, the Twin Snakes version is a superior version of the game. Polygonal models and textures have more detail than those of the original PlayStation game, and the character models are more consistent with those of the sequel, Sons of Liberty. Two, the use of the in-game engine the game engine from Metal Gear Solid 2 allowed Snake additional control options not available in the original version of the game, such as aiming in first person, the use of a tranquilizer gun, and the ability to hide bodies in lockers. And when I say the ability to hide bodies, I mean literally in the first version of the game, they all disappeared as soon as you took care of an enemy. If you killed them, the body just disappeared. In this game, it is like the sequel where you have to hide the body, or else if another guard sees it, they're going to become alerted. 3, as I mentioned before, the entire spoken script was re-recorded, resulting in cleaner audio and performances that are more consistent with the more recent versions of the characters. Notably, Mei Ling, Naomi Campbell, and Natasha Romanenko no longer have accents, which aligns with future performances in the series. Also, dialogue was rewritten in some spots to more closely align with the original Japanese text. 4, and this is the one big problem that people had with the game, the cutscenes were directed to be more dynamic than the original game, with Snake performing bullet time stunts and acrobatic feats that did not align with the more grounded version of the character seen in all other games in the series, and we will certainly get to see those acrobatic feats during the playthrough. With all of that said, while I can appreciate that the cutscenes may diminish the legitimacy of this game as an entry in the series, and may be a deterrent for returning players, I think the technological improvements to the graphics, sound, and controls all combined make this a game worth experiencing. And all of that besides, this is the same story as the original, and the story from the first game is still fantastic. Twin Snakes takes place chronologically near the end of the timeline of the Metal Gear universe, as implausible as that seems, with only 3 other games taking place after this one. That would be Sons of Liberty, Metal Gear Solid 2. That would be Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, and if you actually count it, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is the last game canonically in the entire series. However, this game does come with a few quick plot summaries to acquaint new players with the necessary preamble for the story of Twin Snakes. And we're going to go ahead and read over those to get everyone up to speed. Let me go ahead down to exit. No, I don't want to see the cutscene. We'll watch that in a minute. That's what I get for picking briefing instead of, I wanted to do special. That's what I was looking for. Previous operations. Again, there is also a briefing cutscene that will play that sets up Snake's prior, where Snake was prior to the start of this game. Previous operations. All right, we'll go ahead and get started with Metal Gear. I will go ahead and apologize in advance. This episode is going to be very story heavy and probably gameplay light. In fact, this may be, as a whole, a dialogue heavy series in general. As such, episodes are going to be on the long side. I do expect most of the episodes to run in the 2-hour range, unless I get caught in any long cutscenes, in which case I might either cut it a little bit short or I might end up running a little bit long. Anyway, here is the recap for Metal Gear. Oh, about to drop the controller. The year 1995, and deep in South Africa, 200 kilometers north of Garsberg, Outer Heaven, an armed fortress nation established by a legendary mercenary. He was feared in combat by both his friends and foes as a hero and a lunatic. I don't remember the lunatic part. The Western nations had found out that a weapon of mass destruction capable of rewriting war, there we go, history was under development at Outer Heaven. They called upon the high-tech Special Forces unit, FOXHOUND, to take care of the situation. In response to this order, Big Boss, Commander-in-Chief of FOXHOUND, sent Gray Fox, the man with the code name Fox, a name given to the best member of the unit. Operation Intrude N313. After a few days, Gray Fox was missing in action, his last message being Metal Gear, ... Taking the situation seriously, the top men of the West again called for FOXHOUND. Big Boss selected Agent Solid Snake, who had just recently joined FOXHOUND and entrusted everything to him. Successfully making a solo infiltration into Outer Heaven, Snake got in touch with local resistance members Schneider, Diane, and Jennifer. With their cooperation, Snake succeeded in rescuing Gray Fox. Gray Fox then laid out the terrifying facts about Metal Gear. Metal Gear was the development name of a nuclear warhead-equipped 2-legged walking tank. It could walk through even the roughest terrains that would stop normal tanks. It could conduct local warfare by itself with unique weapons like its Vulcan cannon and anti-tank missiles. It was indeed a new type of weapon that could conduct a nuclear attack against any place on the face of the Earth, from any land surface. With Metal Gear, Outer Heaven was trying to establish its military superiority over the entire world. In order to destroy Metal Gear, Snake rescued Metal Gear's chief engineer, Dr. Petrovich, and his daughter Ellen, who was taken hostage to force her father to continue with his development. Snake heard from Dr. Petrovich how to destroy Metal Gear. However, as Snake approached the heart of Outer Heaven and Metal Gear, well-designed traps were set all around Snake, as if all his actions were being leaked to the enemy. In the midst of the escalating battle, the leader of the resistance, Schneider, fell into the hands of the enemy, and Snake himself was injured through deadly battles with Outer Heaven's best mercenaries. But Snake's indomitable spirit led him to the 100th floor basement of the secret base where Metal Gear was developed. Evading the powerful defense system that had wiped out all other intruders, Snake ultimately succeeded in destroying Metal Gear. Snake tried to escape from Outer Heaven upon completing the mission. However, during the escape, he was confronted by one man, FOXHOUND Commander Big Boss. Big Boss laughed at the astounded Snake, and told him the truth about his mission. While serving as the commander of Foxhound, Big Boss also ran a mercenary dispatch company, utilizing his connections and capital from his years as a merc. He was planning to build this company a larger military establishment, and he built Outer Heaven as its base. His purpose for sending the rookie Snake to Outer Heaven was to cause information confusion in the West. However, Big Boss miscalculated. He never thought that Snake would make it that far. Having lost Metal Gear, Big Boss activated the self-destruction system of the underground base. While the countdown to destruction continued, his scream echoed in the emptiness. "You have gone too far. Too far!" And I can't really do a great David Hayter or Kiefer Sutherland impersonation. In the 100th floor basement, the battle between two men commenced, free of ideology and politics. I don't know how that's true. The armed fortress nation, Outer Heaven, collapsed. The impenetrable fortress, made from the best military technology and occupied by the toughest mercenaries, burned in flames. Behind him, the flames reached skyward as Outer Heaven fell, leaving Solid Snake all alone. They make it sound so sad. Alright, so that is the game that we actually ended up playing on an episode of Rental Regrets a little while back. We may have talked about it in that particular episode, but there is a sequel that came out on the MSX only called Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, as well as a sequel that was released on the regular Nintendo, called Snake's Revenge. Snake's Revenge is not considered a canonical entry in the series, however, Metal Gear 2 is. So the story diverges here depending on whether or not you ever played that sequel that came out on the NES. This game was never technically released in the United States on its original release. You can play this as part of special edition packages for certain games, including the collection that I think just came out this year. So it is possible you've already played it, but let's go ahead and do the story for this one. 1999. The world was facing an energy crisis. It was obvious that the supply of petroleum would run out faster than expected. However, the development of an alternate energy resource was far from completion. The price of petroleum skyrocketed, and the world economy was in confusion. The 21st century was expected to be one of chaos. One man's invention changed the entire situation. A Czech genius and biologist, Dr. Kio Marv, invented Oilix, a microorganism that refines petroleum to produce a highly purified form of petroleum. The world was filled with hope upon the discovery of this messiah to solve the energy crisis. But at the same time, the world entered a time of tension regarding this new algae. Just when the whole world's attention was drawn to Oilix and Dr. Marv, he was abducted by someone and disappeared. Nations began investigations immediately, and a name soon appeared: Zanzibar Land. Zanzibar Land was a democratic military regime that suddenly appeared in Central Asia in 1997. When their uprising took place, the CIS army, formed around Russia, sent a suppressive unit immediately. Zanzibar Land, resisted by gathering a band of mercenaries from nations around the world and fortifying most of its land. As a result, the CIS army was repeatedly defeated, and Zanzibar Land declared its independence. Due to the active role mercenaries play, this war was called the Mercenary War, and Zanzibar Land was referred to as an armed fortress nation, a military nation with a group of strong mercenaries surrounded by a tough fortress. According to the latest information, Zanzibar was supposedly armed with nuclear weapons. The whole scenario was crystal clear. By obtaining Oilix in addition to nuclear weapons, Zanzibar Land was trying to establish its economic and military superiority over the entire world. Concerned about the situation, the United States ordered Roy Campbell, commander of high-tech special forces units, Foxhound, to rescue Dr. Marv. Sorry, that period there confused me. Campbell was a former member of Foxhound. He brought back Solid Snake, the man who single-handedly brought down the armed fortress nation of Outer Heaven 4 years before, and asked Snake to bring back both Dr. Marv and Oilix. Successfully infiltrating Zanzibar Land, and with the help of CIA agent Holly and others, Snake was able to get deep into the fortress and meet again with Dr. Petrovich, the chief engineer of the Metal Gear at Outer Heaven. He, too, was abducted to Zanzibar Land and was forced to develop another Metal Gear. He told the surprised Snake of an even more shocking fact. Big Boss, the man Snake had defeated at Outer Heaven, turned out to be the general commander of Zanzibar land. Snake rescued Dr. Petrovich in cooperation with Natasha, Dr. Marv's guard and former Czech international secret police agent, and then headed for the confinement facility deep in the fortress to save Dr. Marv. When Petrovich and Natasha crossed the narrow suspension bridge over the deep valley, a missile blew the bridge apart. Natasha was sent flying into the air from the explosion. While unable to do anything to save Natasha, Snake started hearing a well-known voice. "Hey, Snake, we are good buddies. I can let you go. Just leave this place at once." Gray Fox. Snake saw Gray Fox, the best soldier in FOXHOUND, controlling Metal Gear. After the fall of Outer Heaven, Fox had disappeared as if he had followed Big Boss. Losing Natasha in front of his eyes and letting Petrovich get taken away, Snake screamed, "Fox, I will not give up!" After a series of deadly battles with mercenaries, Snake finally made it to Dr. Marv's confinement facility. However, he arrived too late. He saw Dr. Marv's corpse and Petrovich, who could do nothing but just stand there. Petrovich told Snake that Dr. Marv could not withstand the repeated tortures because of heart problems. Snake then received an emergency call from Holly. The information she supplied was very shocking. Petrovich had been voluntarily visiting Zanzibar land to develop Metal Gear. The abduction of Dr. Marv was conducted under the directions of Petrovich himself. After the truth came out, Petrovich attacked Snake, but Snake easily put an end to him and obtained the structural plan of Oilix. While trying to escape, Snake was confronted by Metal Gear, again controlled by Gray Fox. The tremendous battle took place in the underground base. Snake finally succeeded in destroying Metal Gear. However, Gray Fox did not submit and challenged Snake to a final battle. In the midst of a minefield, Snake and Fox fought without any weapons, a fist-to-fist duel involving no hatred or murderous intent. During that weird moment of purity, the two were bound by forces transcending words and emotion. Snake won the tough but pure battle against Gray Fox. However, there was someone else Snake still had to fight: Big Boss. Just like 4 years before at Outer Heaven, Big Boss was waiting for Snake. One who has experienced the tension of battle can never leave the battlefield. I am the one giving you something to live for, and that is war. Snake was infuriated by the arrogant Big Boss. There is only one battle I have to fight, to free myself from you, to shatter the nightmare. Big Boss, I will kill you. With the structural plan of Oilix, Snake and Holly escaped from Zanzibar land in a rescue chopper. Snake once again saved the world. However, there was no smile on his face. Big Boss's last words kept ringing in Snake's head. Whoever wins, our battle does not end. The loser is freed from the battlefield, but the winner must remain there. And the survivor must live his life as a warrior until he dies. Snake then disappeared into the White Lands of Alaska. And that is where we leave off for the beginning of this game. So let me go ahead and back out. We are going to do the briefing. More yakety yakking. Like I said, this is a very dialogue heavy episode, unfortunately. Alright, hopefully they didn't just make me skip a bunch of stuff. No, I think this is where it starts his mission description. Thankfully they do the talking and not me.
It's been a long time, Snake.
I should have known you were behind this, Colonel.
Snake, straight to the point as always.
What do you want from me?
I just invited you here so we could have a talk.
Invited? That's what you call sending armed soldiers after me?
Sorry if they were a little rough with you, but we've got a serious situation here. Only you can get us out of it.
I'm retired from FOXHOUND. You're not my commander anymore, and I don't have to take orders from you or anyone else.
You will take these orders. I know it.
Excuse me.
Who's this?
Dr. Naomi Hunter, the unit's chief medic, an expert in gene therapy.
Are you military?
No, civilian. I've been sent here from ATGC. Pleasure to meet you, Snake. Don't worry, this injection won't hurt a bit.
What's the shot for?
What's wrong? You don't like shots?
Snake, listen up. About 5 hours ago, an island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago called Shadow Moses Island was occupied by Special Ops soldiers.
What soldiers?
Next Generation Special Forces, led by members of Unit FOXHOUND. They've presented Washington with a single demand, and they say that if it isn't met, they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
A nuclear weapon?
I'm afraid so. You see, the island is the site of a secret nuclear weapons disposal facility.
Foxhound hijacking a nuclear weapon?
Now you understand how serious the situation is. You have two objectives. First, infiltrate the nuclear weapons disposal facility and rescue the two hostages. They are DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and Kenneth Baker, President of Armstech.
Those are some heavy-duty hostages.
Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to launch a nuclear strike and stop them if they do. Any questions, Snake?
Questions? I haven't even said whether I'd accept this mission.
Well, you can make up your mind after you hear more about the situation.
Alright, I don't know if we need to do... Well, I guess we do have to do all of these, because I thought one of them actually had something we didn't need to see. We'll go ahead and play all of them.
Tell me about the nuclear weapon disposal facility.
The disposal facility includes a hardened underground base. Even with our most advanced intelligence gathering equipment, we can't tell what's happening inside.
So, someone needs to penetrate, gather intelligence, and report back. Sounds like a spy movie. What's the insertion method?
Well, an air insertion is impossible.
Not with this storm going on.
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
Approach?
Yes, within a few miles of it. The facility is equipped with sonar detection capabilities. They'd be able to hear our engine or propeller noise.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV.
Launch?
Same as a torpedo. Only this has no propulsion device of its own. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim.
You want me to swim in sub-zero Alaskan water?
Don't worry. That suit represents the latest advances in polythermal technology. The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As always, this is a one-man sneaking mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP.
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
I like that they said that they have sonar capabilities and can hear anything approaching. And then in the intro scene, you literally see the SDV crash into the side of the cavern that it's traveling through very loudly. I think they lost the element of surprise as soon as that happened.
What's the time limit?
24 hours. They say they'll launch after 24 hours.
Do they say what the target will be?
So far, they haven't mentioned the target.
When did the countdown start?
5 hours ago.
Aw, poor Snake looks so hangdog. Alright, let's move on to the next file.
Colonel, who are you speaking for?
Naturally, I'm representing the U.S. government.
So who's in supervisory control of this operation?
The President of the United States.
So there's a lot of crap hitting fans in the White House basement.
No. At this point, they're still video conferencing with each other.
If that's a real nuclear warhead, shouldn't they issue a COG?
Not yet. The Secretary of Defense has operational control and is fully aware of the situation. After you infiltrate, if you determine they possess nuclear launch capabilities, a COG will be issued.
Well, if they haven't relocated to the nuclear shelter under Mount Washington, I suppose there isn't that much reason to worry. Yet. Is the National Security Agency in on this?
Yes, and so is the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency.
The DIA? I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this.
They'll be sending us some support.
We don't need desk jockeys. We need a nuclear weapons specialist.
Of course. A nuclear weapons specialist has already been assigned to us.
Funny, I hadn't caught that in the original game or in the replay here, but this is kind of where they start laying in the idea that not only is Snake a regular smoker, but that everyone around him objects to it for some reason. They went hard with that in the fourth game in the series for some reason, but yeah, I don't remember that being anything from the original game in the briefing scene. Also, an important detail, and I don't think they're actually going to end up doing it in this briefing scene. Snake in the original game, when they go through the briefing, actually requests that someone give him a pair of scissors so that he can cut and dye his hair, because in the briefing scene in the original game, he's blonde. Interesting little detail that they decided to put in that first game and then abandoned in the remake here, and in fact in pretty much all the games going forward. He never actually has to show any sign of his hair not actually being brown, but blonde rather. So I don't know why they did that in the first game, and I don't know why they abandoned it going forward, but it's just something that I noticed.
We need backup from a specialist. I'm just an amateur when it comes to nuclear weapons.
I know. That's why I've requested the assistance of a military analyst named Nastasha Romanenko. She'll be providing you backup by codec.
A female analyst?
She's built up an impressive record as an advisor for the Nuclear Emergency Search Team. Contact her if you have any questions. She's also an expert on high-tech weapons.
Where's she working from?
Her home in Los Angeles.
California? California's a lot different than this place.
I don't think they kept up the misogynist tones that he takes with certain people in this game and future games. Usually they don't treat him nearly as horribly.
Colonel, you're retired. Why are you involved in this?
Because there aren't many people who know Foxhound as well as I do.
Is that the only reason?
I've been soldiering for a long time. I don't know anything else. I guess even though I'm getting a little old, I still love to be in the field.
Colonel, you're a lousy liar. Tell me the real reason.
Okay, Snake. Sorry. I'll be frank. A person very dear to me is being held hostage.
Who is it?
My niece, Meryl.
Another detail that I didn't really go over in the setup for the game, Roy Campbell, or the character Roy Campbell, is based on a character from the movie First Blood. If you remember that movie, there was a commanding officer for Sylvester Stallone's John Rambo character by the name of Colonel Sam Troutman, who was played by Richard Crenna. The performance and design of Roy Campbell was very much meant to emulate Colonel Troutman. And of course, if you weren't already familiar with it, the character Solid Snake was, at least in performance, designed to emulate the character Snake Plissken from the Escape to New York movie. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue.
What was your niece doing there?
Several soldiers were reported missing the day of the revolt, and my niece was one of those called in as an emergency replacement.
She looks like you.
She's my little brother's girl. He died in the Gulf War, and since then I've been watching after her.
A personal motive, Colonel. That's not very soldierly.
I'm retired. I'm just an old man now. And I'm your friend.
Since when are we friends?
I've thought of us as friends since the fall of Zanzibar land.
Haven't you had enough of a moody bastard like me?
No. That's the part of you I trust. Please, Snake. Save my niece, Meryl.
All right. But I have two conditions.
Name them.
1. No more secrets between us. I want complete disclosure at all times. And 2.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Accept orders directly from you, Colonel. No cutoffs involved, okay?
Agreed. That's why I was called. But one thing.
What?
I'm not a colonel anymore. Just a retired old warhorse.
I understand, Colonel.
I definitely would not have gone with that take. That makes it look vaguely sexual between the two of them. Not that there's anything wrong with it, it's just they're definitely not lovers.
That doctor, is she part of this operation too?
She was in charge of Foxhound's gene therapy. She knows more about those men than anyone else.
So, she's used to seeing men naked.
Make no mistake, I'm not a nurse, I am a scientist.
By the way, what was that injection for?
It's a combination of nanomachines and an anti-freezing peptide so that your blood and other bodily fluids don't freeze, even at subarctic temperatures.
Nanomachines?
Not just one kind either. There are different types which will replenish the supply of adrenaline, nutrition, and sugar in your bloodstream.
Now I don't have to worry about food.
I also put some nootropics in there.
Say what?
Nootropics. A class of drugs which will help improve your mental functioning.
It'll make me smarter, huh? Anything else?
Yes. It's a type of stimulant. It'll keep you alert and responsive for 12 straight hours.
I call it crystal meth.
It's quite a cocktail. Anything else in there?
Those nanomachines will also keep your Codex batteries charged up.
I guess I can call you when I'm ready to go on a diet.
You're welcome.
I don't remember anything about nanomachines from the original game. That might have been something that they added to this version.
the chief of DARPA and the president of an arms manufacturing company. What business did they have at a nuclear weapons disposal facility?
The truth is that secret exercises were being conducted at the time the terrorist group attacked.
Must be extremely important exercises if those two were directly involved. Were they testing some kind of new advanced weapon?
I'm not privy to that information.
Do we know exactly where they're being held?
The DARPA chief has also been injected with a mini transmitter. As you get closer, you should be able to pick up his location on your radar.
Soliton radar is a part of a couple of games in the series. However, as the games moved forward, they kind of abandoned the idea of having some catch-all radar device that allows you to see where the enemy was and what direction they were facing. They tried to go with something that was a little bit less easy to figure out and obvious. They tried to make it so that you had to actually like look around, judge your environment, and figure these kinds of things out using other means, but I always did enjoy the Soliton a little bit more.
Do they really have the ability to launch a nuclear missile?
They say they do. They even gave us the serial number of the warhead they plan to use.
Was the number confirmed?
I'm afraid so. At the very least, they've got their hands on a real nuclear warhead.
Isn't there some kind of safety device to prevent this type of terrorism?
Yes. Every missile and warhead in our arsenal is equipped with a PAL, which uses a discrete detonation code.
PAL?
Permissive Action Link. The safety control system built into all nuclear weapon systems. But even so, we can't rest easy.
Why not?
Because the DARPA chief knows the detonation code.
But even if they have a nuclear warhead, it must have been removed from its missile. All the missiles on these disposal sites are supposed to be dismantled. It's not that easy to get your hands on an ICBM.
That used to be true. But since the end of the Cold War, you can get anything if you can pay the money.
Important note, they never actually mention in the game as far as I know, but I think this is something that's established in the Metal Gear universe. The Cold War technically didn't end the same way it did in the real world in '91 with the fall of the Berlin Wall and the Soviet Union's collapse. I don't remember when exactly it does happen, but that does mean that the storyline that they follow in this series may involve some elements that don't necessarily line up with our real world. For example, at the very beginning of Metal Gear Solid 2, there is a contingent of former Soviet soldiers that invade an American ship while it's traveling through the Hudson. And this is taking place in the year 2008, 2009, something like that. At that point, the Soviet Union was long since collapsed, so the idea that there was still contingents of it that were operating kind of on their own was a little bit far-fetched, but I'm just stating how the storyline works, basically.
How well armed are these terrorists? I know there was an exercise going on at the time they revolted.
They're heavily armed, I'm afraid.
What about their battle experience?
The 6 in charge are plenty tough. After all, they're Foxhound people.
Hey, you're gonna make me blush.
The others are next-generation special forces. They're not your average grunts either.
Seems like every game going forward from this one tries to let the player know that you're not just tangling with regular soldiers, you're tangling with the best, baddest soldiers to ever live on the face of the earth. And boy, do you never feel that way when you play these games. They always seem to be remarkably dumb, but they do try to explain why these soldiers are different or better in one of the briefing videos here.
So what exactly are they demanding?
A person's remains.
Remains?
That's right. To be more accurate, cell specimens which contain the individual's genetic information.
Cell specimens? Why would they want that?
The terrorists need them. You see, these next-generation special forces have been strengthened through gene therapy.
Genes? Strengthened?
You've heard of the Human Genome Project. They've been mapping the human genome and they're nearly finished. Following up on this research, the military has been working towards identifying those genes, which are responsible for making effective soldiers.
There are genes that do that?
Yes, and using gene therapy, they're able to transplant those genes into regular soldiers.
Gene therapy?
I'll explain this part. With gene therapy, it becomes easy to remove genes that cause sickness and disease, or, alternatively, to splice in additional genetic material.
In other words, we can overcome all sorts of genetic diseases and at the same time add genetic characteristics as desired.
Okay.
For example,
And so
you're
if
now
you
half
knew
gorilla.
what genes were responsible for making the perfect soldier, you could implant them in the same way, right?
Yes, we could.
But it all depends on being able to isolate and identify those soldier genes.
And in order to do that, it's helpful if you can study the genetic information of one of the greatest soldiers ever.
They really do love leaving important details dangling while they do these briefing scenes.
One of the greatest soldiers ever.
The man they called the greatest warrior of the 20th century.
You don't mean Big Boss?
That's right. We've been working feverishly to identify the genes responsible for his incredible combat skill. So far, we've discovered about 60 of the so-called soldier genes.
So his body was recovered after all.
Yes, and his cells have remained frozen in a cryochamber. His genetic information is a priceless treasure to mankind.
Priceless to the military, perhaps.
His body was burned severely, but it was possible to restore his DNA profile from just a single strand of his hair.
Oh, heck, it's like some kind of dinosaur theme park. And you're gonna put these genes into soldiers?
Yes. We'll use a process that I discovered called gene targeting. The strongest soldiers don't become what they are by acquiring their skills through training or experience. We now know that hereditary factors are far more crucial for creating superior soldiers.
Snake, we can't hand over his body. It's more strategically important than any weapon of mass destruction.
I hear the terrorists are calling themselves the Sons of Big Boss.
The Sons of Big Boss.
They do love their secondary names in these games. So the enemy here calls themselves the Sons of Big Boss. In the next game, they're the Sons of Liberty. And the game after that, they're the Sons of the Patriots. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. I don't know why it's always Sons of whatever, but I don't remember that one necessarily from the original game, though. Sons of Big Boss.
Tell me about these next-generation special forces.
They started out as an anti-terrorist special ops unit, made up of former members of biochem units, technical escort units, and the nuclear emergency search team. Their purpose was to respond to threats involving next-generation weapons of mass destruction, including NBC weapons.
Until they
The
were
Peacock?
allies.
Who's they?
These guys didn't start out as regular army.
Looks like a pretty international group. Mercenaries?
Yeah, and it gets worse. Most of them were from a merc agency that I think you're familiar with. They were part of Big Boss's private guard. And after Big Boss went down, the military just bought out all their contracts.
Outer heaven.
After that, they were merged with our own VR unit Force 21 and retrained. If you ask me, these so-called next-generation special forces should be called simulated soldiers. They have no real battle experience.
Soldiers of the video game generation, huh?
Don't forget, they've all been strengthened with gene therapy. They carry genes which make them excellent soldiers. Don't get careless just because they don't have much experience.
I thought international law banned the military use of genetic therapy.
Yes, but those are just declarations, not actual treaties.
The interesting thing is that nearly every member of the unit conspired in this attack.
Interesting that they would go back on some of the stuff they talked about in the first game with the skill of these particular soldiers. Basically, they're following up on a storyline thread from the second game where the characters that are part of the enemy's unit in that game also just went through virtual training. They didn't necessarily have real combat experience, so they tried to downplay their effectiveness by saying, well, they've all just been training in video games, essentially.
How can an entire unit be subverted to rebellion?
They're calling it a revolution.
Since they all went through the same gene therapy, they probably felt closer than brothers. They see the unit as their only family.
The sons of Big Boss. But if they were regular army, they must have been interviewed periodically by army counselors.
According to their files, they all got straight A's on their psychological tests. They all seemed like fine, upstanding, patriotic soldiers.
But they all took part in the uprising?
No. Several people didn't show up on the day of the exercise. That's why there was a resupply of troops.
Was there any sign recently that something might be wrong?
There was a report a month ago that they were acting strangely.
Apparently, they consulted classified information about the soldier genes and performed their own gene therapy experiments.
They can do that, even without you?
Well, our gene therapy process is almost completely automated. And besides that, they're all geniuses with IQs over 180.
Even the existence of this genome army is a national secret of the highest order. We had been hoping to investigate this thing quietly and deal with it behind closed doors.
Naomi getting a little bit too close there. All right, and let's do Foxhound.
High-tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound, your former unit, and one that I was the commander of. An elite group combining firepower and expertise. They're every bit as good as when I was commanding them.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mantis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter.
Sounds like a bunch of cartoon characters.
And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound Squad Leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake?
Yes, and you're the only person who can stand against him.
I don't know if they do. Oh, yeah. Okay, I was going to say, I don't think they do a detailed bio on every single one of the characters here, but I guess they do one at least for Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake?
Liquid Snake. The man who shares your code name. The solid versus the liquid.
Tell me what you know.
He fought in the Gulf War as a teenager, the youngest person in the SAS. His job was to track down and destroy mobile Scud missile launching platforms. You were there too, I believe. Didn't you infiltrate Western Iraq with a platoon of Green Berets?
I was just a kid myself back then.
The details are classified, but it seems that originally, he penetrated the Middle East as a sleeper for the SIS.
He was a spy for the British Secret Intelligence Service?
But he never once showed his face in Century House. He was taken prisoner in Iraq, and after that there was no trace of him for several years. After you retired, he was rescued and became a member of FOXHOUND.
I thought that by the time I left, they were no longer using code names.
I don't know his real name. That information is so highly classified that even I can't look at it. Here's a photo of him. Pretty shocking, huh? His skin tone is different, but otherwise, you two are exact duplicates.
Oh, boy.
I don't know the details, but it seems so. That's why we really need you for this mission.
You're the only one who can beat him. Now that I've met you, I know. You've got something that he doesn't.
Why don't I find that thought more comforting?
Interesting. I forgot that they revealed that detail before you actually start the mission. I thought it was always something that came out while you were playing the game. I think that's it. Unless there was something I missed. No, that's it. All right, so I think they do a wrap-up scene right here. Unless I skipped it. Nope, there it is.
I need to borrow your scissors.
What are you going to do?
Okay, so he does cut his hair.
Just gonna clean myself up a little.
Huh?
I don't want to be mistaken for the leader of the terrorists.
He does cut his hair, but technically he did not have to dye it, so I find that interesting. Okay, so we have done all of the story setup that we were going to need for the beginning of the game. I'll go ahead and say this now. I will probably not try for an all non-lethal playthrough. That does make the boss fights a little bit on the tough side, and if I'm struggling with it, I'm not going to worry about whether or not I keep everybody alive. Technically, storyline-wise, none of the bosses ever survive anyway, so it never really made sense to try to do a non-lethal approach to boss characters in this series, since they die no matter what you do to them. And I don't recall there are any rewards in-game for the non-lethal approach. We'll give it a try as much as possible. I do think enemies get replaced if you kill them in certain areas, so if you have to go through it non-lethally, that's when we'll probably stick to it. But otherwise, if I have a better option, just doing a lethal takedown, I'll probably do that. Oh, back up. Let's check the options and see if there's anything I need to fix. We'll leave rumble on. Radar type 2, that's fine. What that does is you normally have a radar display on the screen while you're undiscovered. You're basically sneaking successfully. If you do get discovered and go into caution or danger, you will lose the radar until they go back to their non-alert status. Sound, I guess we'll do the Dolby Pro Logic 2. I don't know if that's going to affect how the audio comes over. I don't think it does. Subtitles on. First person view, hold down, that's fine. Quick change, unequip. And I don't think I need to change any of those. All right, so difficulty. As much as it pains me to admit this, I have not played this game in probably 20 years since I initially got the game. So I'm going to have to turn the difficulty down to easy. I know it makes me a big coward, and I probably should be ashamed of myself, but I would actually like to complete this complete playthrough of the series. So just to help me out, at least in the early hours, I think it would probably benefit me to lower the difficulty to easy. We're not going to go to very easy. I think what that does is it ends up giving you unlimited ammo. And I think all rations give you all of your health back. So that's probably a little bit too extreme. I think easy is probably the way to go. Normal, I'm sure after a couple of hours of failure, I would finally get the hang of things. Not to mention the controls on the GameCube controller are a little bit different than what you experienced on either the PlayStation, or if you picked up one of the re-releases on Xbox. The Xbox control scheme is very similar to the PlayStation. This one, they had to make some concessions because there is no select button on the GameCube controller. So using the codec involves you pressing start or holding start and then pressing A, which is a little bit weird, but that is something important to know before you go into the game. Anyway, let's go ahead and get it started. There's our boy. Everyone up above the surface going, "What was that loud bang we just heard?" Good job with your sneaking in stealth infiltration. Didn't work, buddy. Ooh, fancy camera pan. I will say that the camera moves a lot more dynamically than it did in the original game. There might be some replicated sequences in the cinematics, but for the most part, they said that, you know, Kitamura was told to just do whatever feels right. And sometimes that resulted in some very strange choices that we're going to see as the game progresses.
Stay alert. He'll be through here. I know it. I'm going to swat down a couple of bothersome flies.
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake?
Looks like the elevator in the back is the only way up.
Just as I expected. You'll have to take the elevator to the surface, but make sure nobody sees you. If you need to, contact me by codec. The frequency is 140.85. When you want to use the codec, push the pause button and then the A button. When we need to contact you, the codec will beep. When you hear that noise, press the pause button and then the A button to receive the call. The codec's receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear. No one but you will be able to hear it.
Got it. Okay, I'm ready to go.
Important detail I didn't mention during the briefing scenes. The character of Colonel Campbell, they actually made his voice performance a little bit younger than it was in the original game. In the original version of the game, he was a much older, gruffer sounding character. I think the reason for the change is they decided to make him more of a contemporary to Snake because they were supposed to be kind of in the same age range, but I don't know how close. Anyway, I was delaying, waiting for him to turn around, and then I waited too long. big stretch. He's had a tough day. Okay. So there's probably going to be a little bit of rust in the early moments of this gameplay, so I do apologize in advance if things are a little bit rough early on, especially as I'm trying to remember the controls. No. This is not going well already. Okay. Oh, no. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. I need you not to wake up until I get you back to this locker back this way. There's some lockers back against the wall here. Uh-oh. Oh, no! I forgot. All right. Let's do this. Oh, how do you choke people? Don't look over here. Now he's looking over here. God damn it. Why am I not choking you? There we go. Sit down. Alright, so how do I open the locker? There we go. Or not. I should have done the one that's still alive first, but whatever. Okay. Put him in there. And I think that's our gun. The M9, which should be the tranquilizer gun, so now I can actually put soldiers to sleep. As soon as I remember how to do that. There we go. Oh, there we go. Hey, what's up? And go to sleep. I don't have a locker to put this one in, so we're going to do the easiest thing as far as disposal. We'll just drag them over the edge, and I think you just throw them out into the water. Maybe not. Oh. Alright, what's going on, guys?
If you see an approximately waist-high railing, stand close and press the action button. You will climb over the railing and hang down from the other side.
Okay, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to get rid of the body here, but whatever. Again, if we were going for a non-kill game, I've already ruined it because I killed one. I'm not worried about that. If you were looking for a big boss performance in this particular playthrough, I think you should go find another video. Alright, I should be able to go. Yep, there we go. Head on up. I probably could have gotten something out of the middle locker that was locked just by punching it, but I'm not going to worry about that. Oh yeah, there's our boy. I think one of the big problems with this game is the fact that they made Solid Snake's character model bowed out a little bit too much. He walks around with his arms held out to his side in a way that kind of makes him look like a big ape, which is why I said they spliced his genes with a gorilla during the briefing. It's like, calm down, dude. I know you're muscular, but you ain't that big.
It's Snake. I'm in front of the disposal facility.
Excellent, Snake. Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
How's that sneaking suit working out?
I'm nice and dry, but it's a little hard to move.
Bear with it. It's designed to prevent hypothermia. This is Alaska, you know.
Take it easy. I'm grateful. If it weren't for your suit and your shot, I would have turned into a popsicle out there.
An anti-freezing peptide, Snake. All of the genome soldiers in this exercise are using it.
I see. I'm relieved to hear that. Already tested, huh? By the way, how's the diversionary operation going?
2 F-16s just took off from Galena and are headed your way. The terrorist radar should have already picked them up.
We're gonna let Liquid shoot them down.
Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here?
I have no idea, but it looks like our little diversion got their attention.
I don't remember if they go into that detail in this game, but they certainly do in the second one.
Now's your best chance to slip in unnoticed.
Because one man left, so just go ahead and do what you were going to do while he was still there to begin with.
There are only 18 hours left until their deadline. You've got to hurry.
Wow, he must be crazy to fly hind in this kind of weather.
Who's that?
Oh, sorry. I haven't introduced you two yet. This is Mei Ling. She was assigned to us as our visual and data processing specialist. She designed your codec, as well as your Soliton radar system. Contact her if you have any questions about either of them.
Nice to meet you, Snake. It's an honor to speak to a living legend like yourself. What's wrong?
Nothing. I just didn't expect a world-class designer of military technology to be so... cute.
You're just flattering me.
No, I'm serious.
How does he even see her? He's just listening to her voice.
For the next 18 hours.
What's this? I'm being hit on by the famous Solid Snake? But I'm surprised. I didn't think you'd be so frank.
Looks
The name's
like we
actually
both have a lot
David.
to learn about each other.
It does, doesn't it? Well, let's get to know each other better. But first, let me explain about your Soliton radar system. The bright dot in the middle is you, Snake. The red dots are your enemies, and the blue cone shape represents their field of vision.
Be careful, Snake. The genome soldiers have highly developed senses of hearing and vision due to their gene therapy. Make sure you don't let them see you.
First, I want you to infiltrate the disposal site and look for the DARPA chief.
The DARPA chief was injected with the same GPS transmitting nanomachines as you.
He should appear on your radar as a green dot.
Get whatever information you can from him about the terrorists. If he's alive, that is.
He'll be
The
fine.
radar isn't affected by the weather, but if you're discovered by an enemy, you won't be able to use it.
Yes, it gets jammed easily, I'm afraid.
Yes, it's all made from currently existing technology. You won't be able to use it in an area with strong harmonic resonance, so be careful.
We'll be monitoring your movements by radar, so contact us by codec anytime you want.
Got it. I'll call if I'm feeling lonely.
Seriously, Snake. We're here to back you up, so call if you need some information or advice.
I'm also in charge of your mission data. Contact me if you want me to save your current status. My frequency is 140.96. It's a dedicated frequency for saving data. Don't forget it.
Remember, except for your binoculars, you need to arm yourself with whatever weapons you can find.
I remember. First I'm strip searched by Dr. Naomi here, and then all my weapons are taken away. Imagine yourself put in that position.
Well, if you make it back in one piece, maybe I'll let you do a strip search on me.
I'll hold you to that, Doctor. By the way, sorry to disappoint you, but I did manage to smuggle out my smokes.
How did you do that?
In my stomach. Thanks to the shot you gave me that suppressed my stomach acids.
By the way, they taste like
Those
now.
can help you.
You never know.
If you want to get in, there's the front door. It's the fastest way, but there's too much risk of being spotted by the enemy.
Yeah, I can't just knock on the door and ask them to let me in.
What about the air duct near the door?
One sentry on the left, and one on the right. They're armed with 5.56ers and pineapples.
There should also be a duct on the second floor.
I can't see it from here.
I'll let you decide the best COA. I'm counting on you, Snake.
I don't think he saved on that many syllables by just saying COA. It was 3 versus 4. You saved yourself 1 syllable, dude. Alright, so I think you can just tap, yep, to unequip and re-equip. Unfortunately, the M9 does not have enough force to pop a searchlight, so we don't have the ability to do that just yet. Important detail about the traversal in snowy environments: the enemy can see your footsteps in the snow, so you do have to be careful while you're moving around not to get spotted, or at least not have your footsteps spotted, because the enemy will respond if they do see that. Alright, so I don't think we can hop this. Nope. Okay. And I already saw a guard asleep up there. Alright, so what we can do is we can take out the first guard, provided he doesn't turn back on me. Uh-oh. Oh, get out, you dick. No, no, you don't. You're not calling anybody, buddy. Uh-oh. No, I didn't mean to do that. I need you to come with me, real quick. I don't think he'll be spotted. So we'll find out if they all come to this spot. Okay, we should be alright. I'm gonna dump them right here. Take my ammo. And remember how to aim. Keep them asleep for a while. Quick equipping and unequipping is also an easy and fast way to reload your weapon, so that is a good tactic to use if you are in a gunfight. I don't think I need this right now, but we're going to put it on. Oh, there was a guardrail right here. Alright, you know what? Let's just get rid of them. If you want to wake up a guard, you can actually do so by picking them up and dropping them repeatedly. That usually does speed up the timer from the sleep countdown. Again, we're not worried about doing a stealth playthrough, but I do want to dispose of bodies as much as possible. And see you later! I do not believe there is any penalty in this game for going on a killing spree. The game is not quite that worried about what you do yet. In future games, they do get a little bit more stingy. Forgot there was a camera there. Uh-oh. Yeah. Alright, let's see what he does. Alright. See if I can trank him from here. Uh-oh. Don't. Come on. Get. This is not the most useful. Aw, come on! How did that not hit? Let's see if I can get in a position to aim at him a little more stably. Oh, no, he went down. Okay, we're good. I thought I got back up. Alright. Let's get in the back of the truck. Nope, get in the truck. Don't knock on the truck. Aha! So now I have the ability to kill people. Because the SOCOM is a lethal weapon. Also important to note, I don't think it is silenced, so you cannot use it without alerting guards if there are any in the area.
Surveillance camera.
My God. One thing they did add to this game that was part of the original is the fact that you can, in fact, shoot cameras to destroy them in this one. In the original, since there was no first-person view, if there was a camera in the area, the only way to avoid being detected was to use chaff grenades. That vent right there. Oh, there was a camera! Oh, no, 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 no. Uh-oh. Oh, no. I'm in trouble. No, come on. There you go. Uh-oh. I need to hide. I know where I can go. I'll just go into the vent. Get in the vent. Quick, dummy. Alright, we should be fine. Thankfully, guards are dumb. They don't follow you. We are going to go back there, though. Just wanted to wait for the timer to expire on that. And I think in easy mode, there is no going to caution or the alert status staying up. Yeah, it just resets. Perfect. However, there is still a camera right above me. Alright. It's going to take me a while to get used to the control scheme. So I apologize if I'm a little bit lumbering getting response, or getting the control scheme figured out, at least early on. Oh, no, you don't. You didn't see me. No, nobody here. Stop it. Stop chasing me. Gotcha. See ya. Once everyone is asleep, I can pull out my handgun and just start popping guys. Alright, let's go upstairs, take care of this guy. There's a guard right there. Gun does snap to your target, however, it usually aims center of mass, which is probably good gun etiquette anyway if you're going to be shooting someone. Aim for center of mass, then worry about a headshot later. You gotta be kidding me! Go to sleep. Alright, that should have been everybody, so I should, in theory, be able to use my handgun without being caught. And again, I'm not going to worry about trying to keep anyone alive. We just want to get this done. So, as cruel as this is, sorry, dude, but you gotta go. Yep. Alright, so we're good. Got some ammo for my gun. Once we do find a suppressor, and there are suppressors for the handguns in this game, we will be able to use it without having to clear all the enemies in the area first. Alright, so let's go over here, take care of that one. Didn't realize he was still asleep. Checking for ammo. No ammo. Let's go up here. Oh. Now, I don't think we can do this, but I'm going to give it a shot. I think there is a way to shoot the spotlights up here. Spotch? Nope, they're protected, so we cannot take those out. We'll give it a shot trying to get rid of, or get the item in between the spotlights. But it may put me in alert status, and then I'll just have to haul ass to the vent. Ammo. Oh, stun grenades. For the rare occasion when I want to stun an enemy instead of just outright killing them. Alright, so that's what oh, it is! It's gonna cause alert. No! Oh, come on, guys. Seriously, don't let me die like this! Get to the vent. Get to that vent. Get in that vent. Stop! Oh, you idiot! You dummy! Roll, man! Get down! Stop it! I'm gonna die! Oh, man! Come on! This isn't fair. Come on! Why am I not moving? That was bullshit. Why couldn't I get in the vent?
No! Please, no!
Well, hopefully they let me do what I need to here instead of screwing me over. Alright, so I got my rations back. We're just going to have to clear the area again. Oh.
Is there somebody there?
And now he's going to see the potty. Damn it. Oh. How do I put this away? There we go. Nope. Didn't put it away. Get up. Gotcha. All right, let's get the item here. Oh, I already got it. All right, cool. All right, we got to take out the guy upstairs again so that we can kill these guys. Down you go, buddy. This is for all the trouble you're giving me. I didn't want it to come to this. Now, if you are trying for a non-lethal playthrough of the game, you will likely also be trying to get the dog tags for the characters in this game. Basically, and this is a repeat of the functionality that was in the second game, if you get behind a soldier and they don't detect you, you can pull your gun on them and tell them to freeze. Then you can walk around in front of them, point the gun at either their head, or if they are a little bit too tough, manly to go for the shakedown, you can actually aim at their groin, and that usually gets them to respond. If neither of those work, you can actually do a shot to one of their limbs with a lethal weapon to injure them, and then they'll usually give you whatever they have on them as far as dog tags. If they've already given you a dog tag, you can also hold up a character to get them to shake any rations or ammo off of their body, and then you can do whatever you want. You can kill them, you can trank them, as long as you don't wait too long. If you wait too long, the enemy will actually start putting their hands down, reach for their weapon, maybe they'll attack you, but ultimately they will try to get away from you if you wait too long. So you don't want to do that. Alright, let's get what we had in here. Stun grenades. Alright, we can... I thought we could actually take out the spotlights. Let me go up here again and try. And maybe I can, maybe I can't. There we go. I just had to shoot it twice. Okay, well, let's see if I can do it from here. Oh. Got it. All right, so now I should be able to get whatever was in the center there, and I didn't even see it the first time. Was it just chaff grenades? Unfortunately, chaff grenades are an explosive device, so if you actually throw one while there are guards around, they will hear it and they'll investigate. So it's one of those things that maybe it's not the best way to get through an area with cameras. All right, just get in here. We'll be fine. Yeah. Again, if you came here looking for the big boss playthrough where I never get spotted and don't kill anyone, you came to the wrong playthrough. think we get a call while I'm in the vents here. Unfortunately, this is not snake eaters, so the rats that are crawling around in the vents with you will not give you food. Or you can't eat them, at least. Snake is not that depraved. He eats real food, not whatever animals he happens to find and kill. Aw, I thought you could get in here. I guess not. Unless I missed a turn somewhere. Alright, well, we'll have to go up to the second floor. There is a vent on the second floor, I guess. That's the way they wanted you to go. I don't think the front entrance actually opens. Or did I miss something? Oh, right here. Or is this... No, that's how I got in. So I had to turn right. I knew I shouldn't have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
Snake, this is McDonald Miller. It's been a long time.
Master, what are you doing here?
I quit being a boot camp instructor, so I moved out here for some peace and quiet. I'm in retirement, just like you. Once in a while, I still help train the Alaskan Scouts.
Passing on the skills to a new generation, huh?
Campbell told me about the situation here. I thought I might be of some use.
There's no one I'd rather have in a foxhole than you.
Well, I know lots about survival in a harsh environment. I've lived in Alaska longer than you. So call me if you have any questions about the flora or fauna out here. My frequency is 141.80. Those mice are Alaskan field mice. Don't worry, they can't hurt you. Wild field mice don't have a thick
But
layer of
how do
fat,
they taste?
but they can still survive the bitter winters here without hibernating. They dig tunnels under the snow, and that's where they stay warm.
Survival specialists, huh? I should learn from them.
But there's a dark side, too. Sometimes the males will kill and eat offspring that are not their own.
To ensure the survival of their own genes, right?
Yeah, pretty brilliant program, huh? If there are mice, that means
Hint.
there must be an exit somewhere. Follow the mice.
Alright, keep going, guys. Hold your breath. Boy, Snake does not have great lung capacity. Maybe he should give up on the cigarettes. I don't think there's a way to go faster there. I think they do mean for you to suffer just a tiny bit going through that water. Can't go that way. Nothing that way. Yes, yes, I'm following, guys. There we go. Get out my less lethal weapon. Until we find a proper suppressor, we are just going to have to trank guards until we get the whole room cleared out. Uh-oh. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, God. Already off to a terrible start. Hey, what up, guy? Oh, I missed. Did I miss that time? I think I got him. I definitely got him that time. Yes, what up?
Use the elevator to change floors. There should be a
Oh, is that how
cargo
they work?
elevator that you can take down somewhere around there. Try to find it.
I wasn't sure how an elevator worked before. Thanks, Campbell. Okay, let's go up. There's a camera up there. Go, 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 go. Alright. See if there's anyone up here I can shoot. Should shoot, whatever. Snake's just looking for an excuse to shoot somebody. The metal flooring here that I'm walking over will alert a guard if you actually walk through there. I don't see anyone else, so we're going to do something stupid here. We're going to go ahead and swap to the SOCOM and take out the cameras. If someone hears this and responds, I'll just run into the room next to me. I think there is a locker in here. Uh-oh. Someone heard. Alright, we should be alright. Well, maybe we're not.
Clear.
That was the worst clearing ever.
Move. Clear.
Anyone else? Alright, I think we're alright. And just make sure they don't get back up. Oh!
He's over there.
You're not waking them up, dude. Ow! Oh, come on. Get out of here. Nope. Oh, you dick. Stop shooting. Oh, if you are bleeding, and that's when the health bar goes red, you can actually get out of your emergency status by simply laying on the ground. It'll stanch the blood flow. Alright, got a chaff grenade. Alright, so things not going smoothly at the beginning of the game here. I really need my suppressor for the lethal weapon. Make things a lot easier. And I do think at least one... Oh, of course. Get under the tank. Thank you. At least one of the guards that was in here may or may have not been in constant contact with his CO. Basically, there are certain guards that will regularly report in to their commanding officer about their status. If you do take one of those guards down, either lethally or non-lethally, they will end up having... The CO will have someone go and check their location to see what happened to them. If you've already disposed of the body, they may send another guard to cover for the one that disappeared. So those people, best you can do is just put them down and then run. All right, that's... Uh-oh. No!
Enemy intruder sighted. Send additional personnel.
How did you see me? Oh, God. No. No! Stop it! Sit down. I need some health bad. All right. Just stop moving for a second. Okay. They say there was another place I could go in here. Where was it? The elevator. Okay. Watch, a bunch of guards are going to come out. How do I interact with that? It responded for a second. There we go. I'm going to B1. There are doors that are closed right now that we won't be able to go into. Once we get a key card, we should be able to open certain doors in this area. Not yet. We do have a little bit of exploring to do just before we get that first card.
It's picking up the DARPA chief. He's the green dot. Hurry and rescue him.
Okay. Definitely can't go in that one. Level 1. Ah, wait a minute. Where does this lead to? Nowhere. All right, well, we're going in there first.
Snake, if you want to go up or down a ladder, just press the action button by the ladder. Approach the ladder and press the action button to climb it.
I like to imagine in this world that he inhabits, there's an action button on his belt somewhere that he presses when he wants to do things. The colonel said I couldn't climb this ladder unless I pressed the action button. Good thing I have it on my belt. Alright, that did nothing for me. I was hoping there would be something else in here, but I guess it's just a ration. Alright, so we do have a little bit of story coming up, and I think after the initial cutscene that we're coming to, that will probably be where we stop this episode. And hopefully, as we play a little bit more, I'm going to get a little bit cleaner, because obviously I'm not having the best luck in the world. At least in the... Oh, come on. Put that away. In the early hours of the gameplay here. Again, that is why I decided to make this an easy difficulty playthrough. Because boy, am I not making this look good.
Kind of damn cold. I hate Alaska.
Snake checking out his package.
That woman is built all right.
Poor guy suffering from shrinkage. I can't even say it. And I think this is the event where we see the DARPA chief? Nope, maybe not. Let me see if I can look down. I can. Nothing there. All right. Next vent. There we go. Obligatory butt shot.
A woman. Not him.
I found the DARPA chief. Bastards put him through a sex change operation. Good thing they didn't secure that vent with screws.
Who's that?
I'm here to save you. You're the DARPA chief, Donald Anderson, right?
You here to save me, huh? What's your outfit?
I'm the pawn they sent in here to save your worthless butt.
Really? It's true.
My butt is
Don't
worthless.
look like one of them. In that case, hurry up and get me out of here.
Slow down. Don't worry. First, I want some information about the terrorists.
The terrorists?
Do they really have the ability to launch a nuke?
What are you talking about?
The terrorists are threatening the White House. They say if they don't accede to their demands, they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
Sweet Jesus.
Is it possible?
It's possible. They could launch a nuke.
Meanwhile,
How do they plan to launch? I thought this place was just for the keeping of dismantled warheads. They shouldn't have access to a missile.
That's the official story. Got it? We were conducting exercises with a new type of experimental weapon. A truly historical weapon.
What?
A weapon with the ability to launch a nuclear attack from any place on the face of the Earth. A nuclear-equipped walking battle tank.
Metal Gear. It can't be.
You knew? Metal Gear is one of the most secret black projects. How did you know that?
We've had a couple of run-ins in the past. So that's the reason you were here at this disposal site?
Why else would I come to a godforsaken place like this?
but they really hate Alaska in this game.
Your project was scrapped.
On the contrary, it's grown into a huge joint project between Armstech and ourselves. We were going to use this exercise as raw data, and then proceed to mass production. If it hadn't been for the revolution.
Revolution?
Rex has fallen into the hands
The
of
neck
terrorists.
texture is not great. His hairline is moving like crazy.
Metal Gear Rex, the code name for the new Metal Gear prototype. They're probably already finished arming the warhead they plan to use with Rex. These guys are pros. They're all experienced in handling and equipping nuclear weapons.
Hey, shut up in there, will ya?
Does that sound like a man with a 180 IQ? Hey, shut up in there, will you? Jeez. Good job, Spider-Man.
But I thought that all nuclear warheads were equipped with safety measures. Some kind of detonation code that you have to input.
Oh, you mean PAL. Yes, of course. There is a PAL. It's set up so that you need to input 2 different passwords in order to launch the device.
There are 2 passwords?
Yes. Baker knows one, and I know one.
Baker, the president of Armstech?
That's right. Each of us needs to input our password, or there can be no launch. But... they found out my password.
You talked?
Psycho Mantis can read people's minds. You can't resist.
Psycho Mantis?
One of the members of FOXHOUND. He has psychic powers.
This is bad.
It's just a matter of time before they get Baker's too.
If they find out Baker's
Why is she sweating?
password,
Yes. They'll be able to launch a nuke.
I mean, I get that she was exercising, but it's Alaska.
But there is a way to stop the launch.
What?
The card keys.
Card keys?
They were designed by Armstech, the system developers, as an emergency override. Even without the passwords, you can just insert the card keys and engage the safety lock.
And if I do that?
Yes, you can stop the launch.
That card key.
So where are the card keys?
Baker should have them. Listen, you need 3 card keys. There are 3 different slots to put them in. You need to insert a card into each one of them.
Well, 4, but we'll get into that later.
Do you know where they might be keeping Baker?
Somewhere in the 2nd floor basement.
2nd floor basement?
I heard the guards say they moved him into an area that has a lot of electronic jamming.
Any other clues?
Yes. They cemented over the entrances, but didn't have enough time to paint them. Why don't you look for the areas where the walls are a different color? Here, take this. It's my ID card. It'll open any level 1 security door. It's called a PAN card. It works together with your body's own electrical field.
Personal area network, huh?
It transmits data using the salts in your body as a transmission medium. As you approach the door's security devices, they'll read the data stored in the card.
And the doors will open automatically. Gotcha.
Still waiting on that tech to come out.
Okay, I'm gonna get you out of here.
Wait a minute.
What is it?
You haven't heard any other way to disarm the PAL, have you? From your bosses or anyone?
No.
Are you sure you haven't heard anything?
I just said no.
So, does the White House plan to give in to the terrorists' demands?
That's their problem. It has nothing to do with my orders.
But what about the Pentagon?
Pentagon? What is it?
He's got a poo!
Huh? What's that? Hey, what happened?
Whoa, whoa! Getting a little close there, guy. Well, I guess I don't have to save this guy. Take the tie. Snake uses the tie as a bandana for the rest of the game. It's hideous. I love it.
Naomi, the chief, what happened?
I don't know. It looked like a heart attack, but...
A heart attack? No.
Colonel, are you hiding something from me?
Absolutely not, Snake. You've got to understand. This counter-terrorist op is security level red. You'll need the highest security clearance to learn the real story.
You want me to believe
You're running the
you're
op, dummy.
But you don't have complete access to the file?
I told you, the Secretary of Defense is in operational control. I'm just here as your support. Snake, we
He
don't
knows
have
you're
time
lying.
to debate. Get out of there and find President Baker.
Okay, we need to swap to a different gun. And this might be a good spot to save. Oh, wait. Alright, so we're gonna save real quick because this is a scripted sequence that's coming up and I may or may not make it through.
Poor man. He has a heart attack right after you save him. I'm getting a bad feeling about this, Snake. Maybe you should let me save your mission.
Yeah, probably. Hopefully my memory card is still good. Looks like it is. I did do a test file just the other day. Although it did say that it was from a year ago. No, that's just because the clock on the GameCube had basically slowed down over, you know, the 20 years since it was last plugged in or so. Okay. Normally when you save, she does have a little line, some kind of proverb that she relays to you. I guess they don't do it here because they know that this is a serious situation, so the dialogue is a little bit more tense. Guess the coast is clear. Oh, that's a butt.
So you killed the chief, you bastard! Liquid? No, you're not.
No, he's very much solid.
Is this the first time you ever pointed a gun at a person? Your hands are shaking.
Oh, there goes the gun. You've got some moves. Oh.
Can you shoot me, rookie?
Careful. I'm no rookie.
Liar. Your eyes wander. There's no confidence in them. The eyes of a rookie. You've never shot a person, have you?
You talk too much.
You haven't even taken the safety off, rookie.
I told you I'm no rookie!
You're not one of them, are you?
Open that door. You've got a card, don't you?
Why?
So we can get the hell out of
Looks
here.
like we'll be a little delayed. What are you doing? Don't think! Shoot!
Gotcha. And use one of these real quick.
What are you waiting for? Shoot!
Don't talk to me like a rookie!
I'm telling you, shoot!
Oh, missed. Dang it. Get down. And he's down. Alright. Oh, I can't fast reload because I'm out. Uh-oh. Ow! Oh, here's him. Alright, here's the ration. Thank you. Owie! I'm scared. I got a book. What a hero Snake is. He ran to go get a book. I don't think this cutscene plays the same if you trank them.
Thanks for the help.
Wait! Who are you?
Whoa.
You fool! You've killed him! I'm sorry, sir.
His mental shielding was very strong. I could not dive into his mind.
That tie looked familiar.
Now we'll never get that detonation code.
Boss, I have a good idea.
Whoa! Spin move. This is where the gun fu or Matrix style flipping and spinning around that was added to the game comes into play. I don't know if that one's too far-fetched. What the...
Naomi, I just had some kind of hallucination. Is it from the nanomachines?
No, Snake. The nanomachines are functioning properly.
So what was it?
It must have been psychometric interference coming from Psycho Mantis, Foxhound's psychic. Think of it as a mental feedback loop.
So, that was Mantis.
Yeah. Alright, I got back under control. Let me clear the room of any additional items, and we will go ahead and leave. I don't believe you can kill this character. I think he is supposed to survive, so I don't even know if they'll let you shoot the gun if you aim it at him. It's an easy way to find out would be to try. Well, they let you aim it at him. But, you know, that's kind of cowardly, so we're not going to do that. Now, open the door. There we go. Just got to switch to the tranquilizer gun so I don't keep shooting an unsilenced weapon everywhere. Okay. So we are done in there. I'm going to go ahead and save in the elevator. As soon as they give me a chance. There we go. Alright. Do a save.
What's up, Snake?
There we go. Yes. And we'll go ahead and do some wrap-up on this episode. We're going to go ahead and call it here. I suppose I should let the video play after this. Let Mei Ling finish what she's going to say.
Snake, like Shakespeare said, naught's had, all spent, where our desire is got without content. Basically, it means that your desire can get you into trouble if you're not careful. That goes for items too. Don't get too greedy or you might be sorry.
Hey, that book might have been important, okay? Alright, so we went ahead and got us started on our mission. I can't remember if they had a special name for this particular one. Basically, what happened was a terrorist group led by the members of Foxhound infiltrated a base out in Alaska called Shadow Moses. They captured the nuclear arsenal there and a nuclear-equipped walking battle tank called Metal Gear, or in the case of this particular one, called Metal Gear Rex, and have threatened to use the weapon to fire a nuclear missile at the White House if they do not give them the remains of Big Boss. Big Boss, for whatever reason, is still an important character in the storyline, even though we had already killed him, at least from what we understood back in Metal Gear. So, we have infiltrated the base to try to take down the terrorists, made it to the first of the two hostages that we were told to go in and rescue, the DARPA chief, Donald Anderson, and as soon as we got him to explain what the status of the weapon and the bases, he had what looked like a heart attack and just died. And then we had a cutscene after we helped this woman who was in the cell next to ours escape, where they showed the terrorists, Liquid Snake, as well as the character they called Psycho Mantis, standing around what looked like the body of the DARPA chief and saying that he was already dead. So the mystery thickens. If we just watched Donald Anderson die, how was he also already dead at another point in time? That is something that we will find in the next episode. That's going to do it. Well, maybe not the next episode, but we'll find out in the future. That's going to do it for episode 1 of my Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes playthrough. As always, I do appreciate each of you watching, and I will see you next time.